Welcome back to another episode of the Lost Codex, a channel dedicated to the people, places, and histories of Azeroth's universe. In the previous episode, we learned of the Titans and the great journey they took to find and save Azeroth, the rise of the Titanforge armies led by the Nine Keepers, and the great battle they fought against the Elemental Lords. Today we continue with the third and final installment of the Black Empire. With the creation of the Elemental Planes and the Four Lords sealed away inside, the Titanforge turned their eyes to the legions of Akir. Although easily outnumbered by the insectoid minions of the Old Gods, the Keepers and their forces rained down upon the Akiri with weapons of stone and metal. With brutal force, the Titanforge scattered their armies and sent the survivors fleeing into the tunnels below the earth. Although their victory over the Akir heartened the Titan servants, the Keepers knew their greatest battle lay ahead of them. Deciding to attack the Black Empire at its core, they targeted the largest and most powerful of the Old Gods, Yogg-Saron, and stormed the city that surrounded him. As the Keepers and the Titanforge battled the Naraki within the city, the Old God himself struck out, twisting the thoughts and fears of the Titanforged. Aware that the Old God was more powerful than any foe their servants had faced before, the Titans decided to intervene before their forces fell. Aman'thul, the High Father of the Titans, reached down from the skies of Azeroth, seized the massive, corrupted bulk of Yogg-Saron, and utterly destroyed the Old God's mountain-sized body. Although this was another victory for the Pantheon and their army, the Old God's death came at a terrible price. Having burrowed so deep into the planet's crust, Yogg-Saron tore a massive, gaping wound in his terrible death throes, leaving behind a crater that pooled and erupted torrents of arcane energies. These energies were the lifeblood of the slumbering world soul within Azeroth, and the Pantheon knew they could not risk another direct attack on the Old Gods without injuring or killing their sleeping kin. Instead, the Titans guided the Keepers and instructed them to create vast containment chambers beneath the earth, which would be used to imprison the Old Gods and nullify their influence. Empowered with a new plan, the Keepers marched across the Black Empire and descended upon the temple city surrounding N'Zoth. Guided by the Titans, the Keepers overpowered the ancient being and imprisoned him beneath the earth. Next, they marched on Cthulhu's lair, stormed the city gates, and weakened the Old God before sealing him away in an underground prison. With all but one Old God contained, the Titanforge turned towards the north and marched on the city that Yogg-Saron loomed over. As the Titanforged approached, Yogg-Saron called upon his most powerful Naraki servants, the Cathraxi. Standing taller than the average Naraki enforcer, the Cathraxi were massive armored beings capable of incredible feats of strength and telepathic powers that crippled and invaded the mind. These new soldiers would turn the tide in Yogg-Saron's favor, and for a moment, it appeared that the Keepers would fail in their mission. Despite the loss of life the Titanforge suffered, Keeper Odin rallied his allies for retaliation and commanded Loken to use his magic to manipulate the telepathic attacks used by the Cathraxi. This illusion fooled the Naraki generals, causing them to turn on one another, allowing the Keepers to re-enter the fray and decimate any who stood in their path. Soon after, Yogg-Saron fell to the might of the Titanforged, and like his brethren, was sealed within a Titanforged prison beneath the earth. The Keepers and the Titanforge had saved the planet. The parasitic ancient evils that had ruled its surface had been killed or imprisoned, and their twisted, choking grip on the land had been released. Although a temporary peace had settled over Azeroth in the wake of the Black Empire's destruction, the Keepers had no time to rest, turning their attention towards the massive volatile scar left in the wake of Yogg-Saron's death. Thank you for joining us for the final installment of the Black Empire series. Join us for the next chapter of the Lost Codex, where we'll explore the terraforming of Azeroth and the rise of new Titanforge races. If you wish to request a future topic for the Lost Codex, please leave a comment. And as always, if you enjoyed our videos, hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for a new chapter in the Lost Codex.